is Yasmin Cruz, and I'm going to be discussing the Superhuman Biohacking with 5-MeO DMT. I will explain the way of organic evolution using psychedelic molecules, that way bypassing the idea of transhumanism. Now, I don't want to dive into what the transhumanistic movement is. I would certainly want you to look it up, but I do want to discuss using 5-MeO DMT to enhance the experience and biohack our system for the betterment of our lives, and not only of our lives, but the individuals around us, our community, and so forth and so on. So my goal here is to describe some of the process that I have taken and that I have worked again for the betterment of the experience. Now, biohacking basically is do-it-yourself brain thinkers who have decided to take matters into their own hands. It's also the art and science of upgrading the mind, brain, and body for more optimal conscious experiences and capacities. So using 5-MeO is one of the most powerful tools that can be used to enhance your life if done properly. Now, if it's not done properly, it could certainly set you back even into a deeper hole. So some of the tools that I have used in combination with 5-MeO have been, and I would certainly want you to take note, is the importance of health, the importance of going back to basic. Before we want to reach those states of enlightenment, we certainly have to get some type of control within ourselves and what we are doing to usually when we go into these tools is because there's something wrong. So one of the first things that we must do is go back to basic and work on our health by the means of nutrition. So nutrition is extremely important. Changing eating habits, it's very important for an enhanced experience that will last longer. I would first consider a detox process to the body. That detox process could be starting with the lymphatic system, because we're going to be taking in a lot of powerful neurotransmitter. It's going to be affecting our neurotransmitters. So any neurotoxicity we certainly want to get rid of before and after taking 5-MeO. So I strongly suggest to first, again, start with the health. Second, the detox process and clearing out the lymphatic system. So the information that is captured or that your processing of that information, it's on a smoother process for you. Now, I'm saying this because I've been in this journey for almost 20 years and dealing with powerful tools like this, mainly for the last 5 years. And what I have noticed is that if I had had this information before, I think my process would have been better, and it certainly would have enhanced it, and I would have been able to integrate it even more. The other thing that we all know is, or we should know, is set and setting is extremely important when using these tools. Again, we want to capture this information as best as possible. We want to be able to integrate it as best as possible. Again, so our life improves faster, better, and on a long term. So another thing that we need to know or do is set an intent. Having an intention, knowing what we're going to be working, but really being flexible enough that we don't get stuck if we don't get the results that we're looking for. Besides having a great therapist, also being able to write down, journaling is a great way of capturing the information at the moment, because the brain tends to forget. And again, the point here is to enhance the experience for the betterment of ourselves. The other thing I would also like to mention is sleep. Sleep is super important when we're taking in these substances. We need the rest to be able to, again, incorporate. Our brain needs to, we can't do two things at once. The body can't process and regenerate. So sleep is super important for us to be able to regenerate. It takes a lot of processing when we're taking in these molecules. There's a lot of connections and reconnections and that is taking place. So again, sleep is very important. The other aspect I want to talk to, and again, it seems like simple things, but they're not. They're powerful things that, if used properly, it will certainly take you to a different level. It certainly has worked for me. I also now know, or try to do, is that when I'm going into a journey, let's call it, or I set my intent, I have set in setting, I now choose who I'm going to have as somebody that's going to guide me through the process. I certainly have prior talks and discussions of what I'm looking for and why I'm there. I don't do it as often as before. I have learned to, again, with the enhancement and with taking in these tools, you only need to do it, I don't know, once a year, twice a year. That certainly has been how I've been handling it for the past 2 years, and it certainly has improved tenfold my process. When I first started, it was with just not seeking any type of spiritual enlightenment, but certainly wanting to get healthy and get better, because I was diagnosed with chronic depression for over 5 years, and I was also struggling with ADD. So I was taking medication, and I took medication for about 6 months till I realized that I could not be on them for very long. They were having many side effects, although they had helped me immensely to start my journey. It was something that I certainly did not want to prolong. So I sought out again these powerful tools. I could tell you that meditation, yoga, body work is also important when going into these experiences. Having that already at the beginning makes the journey even more easier. And the reason why I say this is because we think that that when we are reaching these higher states of consciousness, that is going to be all beauty and wonderful, and that we're going to come out of there and everything's going to be sunshine and rainbow and birds are going to be singing. They do, but it certainly fades away quite quickly if we don't prepare for the journey. So the information I'm giving you is so you have so your experience is better, but also to save you a lot of time and a lot of money that I certainly did spend at the beginning. I could bought myself a brand new car with all I spent and all the places I went and all the things that I was taking. So I'm going to give you the things that I know that it works. So we've talked about the setting, the nutrition, the movement, the clearing out the lymphatic system, and now about nootropics and how to enhance with nootropics. So nootropics are the stacking of different herbs, plants, mushrooms to get a synergy to enhance the experience. So one of the things that I do now, I do microdosing. I don't go into journeys that often, but I do microdose. And that's the other thing, that once you've on a path and you have cleared much of that disease or ill ease, then you could go into the enhancement part. And you do that with simple, less expensive items. For example, when I say microdosing, microdosing on psilocybin, microdosing on DMT, or microdosing on cannabis. Now, there's a stigma behind all of these, but more so on cannabis because it has been used more often and abused more often. Now, that is something I'm not very familiar, but I certainly have incorporated. And as far as the microdosing, it has enhanced tenfold my everyday life. Again, microdose is for psilocybin 0.10, and then you combine it with either lion's mane or turkey tail, because those help with the processing so much better. You get such a synergy with the combination. It's a beautiful thing to take in very little amounts of something that is natural and that it has no side effect, but yet the benefits are immense. It is not very costly to do so. It is certainly one of the least expensive things that I took in that gives me great enhancement. The other thing I use is when I do microdosing on psilocybin, then I go in and I stack it with the microdose of cannabis. And when I don't smoke, so that's something that I have to consider incorporating. I never took up smoking, so that to me it's a challenge. But I do now know that you have to take it in different forms. You have to inhale it, you have to eat it, and you have to put it in on your skin. So I do have infusions of oil, which the cannabis I infuse with cacao powder or coconut oil, or and I also have it with olive oil, and it's infused. So I take a shot, a little amount, and that again is lubricating my brain, and it's also picking up the signals. It allows me to pick up the signals. Now, what has been the benefit for me? I certainly spend a lot less money on other therapies or other forms. Consuming, it's natural, it's safe, it's not that expensive, and it certainly works on the moment, on the day-to-day. Certainly there's times where my production, where I'm at work and I am completely at peace. I'm in a state of flow, and that's what you want. You want to be in that state of flow as much as possible, where time just flies by and you're doing everything with ease. those are beautiful moments for me. Those are beautiful moments. And I get that with the microdosing. So what more information can I give? Well, again, you have to start with the basic. We don't want to blow our brains out. There is no need. There is certainly better ways. We certainly have to have a more intelligent way of consuming all these natural substances. We certainly have to remove the stigma behind them, because it is this going the organic way or going a different route, which is the transhumanistic movement. Or we also don't want to go into the New Age movement where we think that everything's beautiful and everything's peace and love. So we certainly want to be rational, be consistent, be pragmatic, and in order, again, to enhance our life, not only for the moment, but for the long term, for ourselves, for our family, for our community. Again, we're going to a transition, and the information that's coming in, once you start clearing out the junk or detoxing, and you start using these tools, then you will start realizing that certainly has been the case for me, where you start picking up even more information, which leads you to even opening of other doors and other possibilities that, and again, it's what's happening right now. You're tapping into what we would call into the morphogenetic field, or morphogenetic field, where you're picking up information. So again, this is to hack your biology. Now, I certainly want to give you a list of individuals or people that I have brought in information from, which is Dr. Bruce Lipton. He has a book which is called The Biology of Belief, and he basically talks about the genes and gene expression, and how we have the ability to activate or deactivate. So what it basically means is that if your family, you come from a line of diabetics, or you come from a line of, some neurological disease or whatnot, that it doesn't mean that you're going to get it. Your belief and the way you move about your environment and what you do with what you're taking in, and how you're certainly expressing yourself with your surroundings is the key. So gene expression doesn't necessarily need to be on. It can't be turned off or on or off. Again, it's the belief. And that's one book that I would recommend. I also would like to recommend another doctor, is neuropath. I can't even say it. Neuropath. And he deals with the health, and again, going back to basics, his name is Dr. Robert O. Young. He has great information. Another doctor that I would certainly recommend to listen to is Dr. Zach Bush. He talks about basically terrain theory with virus, that it is not actually the virus itself, but the terrain, that when a virus goes in, it doesn't necessarily need to replicate, because the terrain is not optimal for it to replicate. So if it comes in, it just certainly there. It only makes it, it only enhances your immune system, because your immune system is able to pick it up and to be able to recognize it where the germ or the virus no longer is a problem for you. So those are two individuals that I would certainly recommend for you to follow or look up, Google. I also would recommend for you to visit a website, which is Neurohackers Collective, and they have great, wonderful information on nootropics and the different substance or herbs and supplements that you can utilize, again, to enhance your experience in a more positive, long-lasting way. So that is it for me, and I hope this information comes in handy. And I wish you guys luck, love, peace, harmony. Enjoy. 2 individuals that I would certainly recommend for you to follow or look up, Google. I also would recommend for you to visit a website, which is Neurohackers Collective, and they have great, wonderful information on nootropics and the different substance or herbs and supplements that you can utilize, again, to enhance your experience in a more positive, long-lasting way. So that is it for me, and I hope this information comes in handy. And I wish you guys luck, love, peace, harmony. Enjoy.